Hi guys, I'm shooting this backwards, so hopefully you can see me. I'm at my high school right now, I think about it every day actually, what this class means to me and in general, what the program at Northern Illinois has meant. I just, every day I come to work in the morning and look at the mural that we put up. This is something I did a few years ago. Art has no limits, so set yourself free. Never say never and create what you see. And it just goes on. And each group of students had a section of the mural, and we gave them the words that went in the middle and then said, you decide what to do with the rest of the space. Here was another mural that we made with, by the way, this is a great material if you don't know how to use it. It's that pink foam, and that's double-sided sticky Velcro tape. And we just basically said, here's a square. You decide how you would like to use it. Some classes had a little bit more criteria and instruction. The advanced classes, not as much. Sometimes we dealt with color theory and shape and pattern, and sometimes it was really entirely up to the students. I can't tell you how many times when I walk into my office and I'm afraid, I don't even want to show it to you guys because my desk is so messy. It's my art office behind us. I've had, there we are, art. So many conversations with colleagues about art, and not just my art colleagues, but also my visual arts colleagues, but also the performing arts teachers, and then subsequently administrators and other teachers around the school. And I just remember it's sometimes you think something and it's a coherent thought, and then when someone actually gives you the definition for what it is that you're thinking about, all of a sudden it becomes even more coherent and it gels. And I think that's fundamentally what this program has done for me so far, is it's given me more of an understanding of a rationale behind the program that we teach, and the reason why we teach art, and then subsequently because of that, I have a better understanding of what I'm doing, and I have a better, and I'm still not excellent at it. This is one thing I'm learning, is that it takes discipline, even after 20 years, to talk about, like, what is your philosophy, and how does this relate to the community, and how does this relate to students? And that takes discipline. It takes an understanding of so many issues that we've discussed in this class, among others, about curriculum, about assessment, about a fundamental philosophy behind those things. So I just want to hit upon a few of those ideas as I walk into one of our art rooms, and there's a class going on in the back, so I might start whispering at some point. There's our many American flags. Yay. Hey everyone, yes, that's my desk. It's messy. Love that painting. That's when I worked at Agricultural Research Services at U of I, and I spent the summer and fall basically farming. I walked the fields with literally a hoe, and I weeded for the whole summer. That's a soybean. My abstraction. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the video and what we're talking about, I did have some other points I wanted to bring up that specifically tie into, again, the rationale and the reason why I do the things I do now, and I will continue to modify it. Well, first of all, I want to just say that curriculum and what I do and what I think any teacher should do, it shouldn't be something that changes dramatically over time. I'm always thinking about how to modify my curriculum, and I do it slowly, lesson by lesson, unit by unit. Sometimes it blankets everything, and sometimes I try something small and then practice it, apply it, and then apply it to other things. And I think this course will have that kind of impact on what I do as well. But I especially was thinking about when we were at the Contemporary Museum of Art, and Professor Friedman brought up the idea of the 90-10 ratio. The idea that when you're teaching to students, that 90% of them, and this is so true, are while they might like art, they're not going into art. They're not going to major in art. And I definitely that resonated with me so much. Just how do you make sure that those students are when they're going out into the world. And there was a great quote from Professor Freeman from an earlier article about this topic. Let me see if I can pull it up. Love it. That most students will not be professional artists, but all students need to become responsible citizens of the world. And that ties into the meta curriculum that the school has. Again, rationale that I actually used this in a conversation with administrators, and my principal was there, and I was so intimidated, and they were all nodding their head, like, and I was like, this, thank you, Professor Freeman. Anyway, moving on, another thing that I'm always going to be thinking about from now on, and that came from the Juan Castro article, which is the idea of enabling versus disabling constraints. Again, putting it into just that terminology was so helpful for me. I needed to hear that. I'd been doing it, but it's just nice to hear it, or at least have it defined as I'm continuing to work on it. Something else that Castor worked on and Professor Freeman has been talking about is the spiral curriculum, that you're incorporating students' prior knowledge into future planning, but the way Castor used it, that he used social media, I gotta go to class soon, actually now, to help guide curriculum through social media, and getting students to take ownership over curriculum by asking them, what do they know, and engaging them based on their previous knowledge that maybe some of it you may have given them and some of it that's from their own personal experiences. That curriculum is a dynamic, ever-changing force, and it's every single human being that enters the room is going to somehow have an impact or should have an impact over that curriculum. It's like this pool, and everybody's a drop, and they all interact together. Critically important. Other issues, other things I want to bring up, the maker movement, articles I read about STEAM while I was in here. Everybody's talking about the maker movement and the idea that students should walk into this room, but it's nice to, again, have that rationale as to, well, okay, this is what the maker movement could look like, and how you could have an integrated approach to it, but how play is so important for creativity, but also it needs to be directed play, not just free play, a free-for-all. So how important it is, again, for the teacher to establish criteria through which the students have the chance to take risks and make decisions, and again, they're taking ownership, but under guidance. Very important. So I've already been doing this, I'd say, with my AP students. I'd like to be able to do more of this, obviously, with my foundations level courses. Well, at least for me, it's obvious. So I could keep going. Let's see, I've done this for a while. I have to go to class, though. So that's my video, and I'll be posting next week. I have more to write about, but I think I'll add that in to the last video that I do for the class. Bye, everyone.